Welcome to a journey into the profound waters of philosophy. Today, our topic is one of Friedrich Nietzsche's most striking and controversial ideas, the Übermensch, or Overman. What exactly is the Übermensch? What did Nietzsche mean by his famous statement, "God is dead," and how is this idea connected to the concept of the Übermensch? As humanity faces the collapse of old value systems, Nietzsche's proposed Übermensch offers a path to create new meanings in this void. Nietzsche's statement, "God is dead," does not refer to the physical death of a deity, but to the loss of traditional religious and moral values by humanity. Modernity, scientific progress, and secularization have shaken the sources of meaning that people relied on for thousands of years. Nietzsche referred to this void as nihilism, the idea that life has no objective meaning or value. However, according to Nietzsche, this is not just destruction, it is also an opportunity. Humanity has the chance to fill this void and create its own values. This is where the concept of the Übermensch comes into play. The Übermensch is elaborated in detail in Nietzsche's work, Thus Spoke Zarathustra. The Übermensch is not about biological or physical superiority, but represents a mental and spiritual transformation. According to Nietzsche, the Übermensch is an individual who transcends old values and dares to create their own. The Übermensch has broken away from traditional morality and succeeded in giving life its own meaning. Becoming the Übermensch is not an easy task. It requires courage, individual creativity, and deep responsibility. Nietzsche believed that most people live with a herd mentality, uncritically following the rules and values imposed by society. However, the Übermensch steps away from the herd. This is a path filled with solitude and struggle, because the Übermensch must create their own values. Today, the concept of the Übermensch can be associated with ideas such as personal empowerment, creativity, and authenticity. Nietzsche's influence is evident in psychology, art, literature, and even popular culture. In the modern world, people's efforts to create their own identities and meanings echo the idea of the Übermensch. Nietzsche's concept of the Übermensch represents a profound belief in human potential. The value vacuum created by the death of God is not a tragedy, but an opportunity. The Übermensch is someone who can carve a new path in this void and give life its own meaning. Focusing on his thoughts about causality and how they have influenced modern science and philosophy. According to Hume's philosophy, does causality actually exist, or is it merely a habit of our minds? Let's examine these questions in detail. David Hume was a key figure of the 18th century Scottish Enlightenment, particularly known for his work in epistemology and causality. Hume argued that knowledge arises from two main sources: sensory impressions, the things we perceive through our five senses; ideas, the mental images and thoughts derived from these impressions. However, Hume claimed that many concepts, such as causality, do not originate directly from impressions or logical reasoning. So, how should we understand causality in this context? Hume's most striking argument: causality as a mental habit. One of Hume's most striking arguments is that causality is nothing more than a mental habit. Let's think about it this way. Imagine hitting a billiard ball on a table. When you hit the ball, you see it move. After observing this repeatedly, you assume that the strike caused the ball's movement. But Hume pauses here and asks, do we actually see a cause and effect connection, or do we merely observe the sequential occurrence of two events? According to Hume, the concept of causality arises from the constant conjunction of events, which creates an expectation in our minds. However, this expectation is not direct evidence of causation. The two sources of knowledge. Hume identifies two sources of knowledge. One, sensory impressions. These are the raw data we receive from the world through our senses. Two, ideas. These are derived from impressions and are the thoughts or memories that we form about what we experience. But Hume argues that the relationship between cause and effect cannot be directly observed in these impressions or deduced through reason. Hume's famous question. This leads to one of Hume's most famous questions. How can we attain certain knowledge about events we haven't observed? Hume asserts that all of our expectations about the future are based on past experiences. However, even the assumption that the future will resemble the past is, according to Hume, merely a product of habit. The implications for modern science. Hume's understanding of causality challenges some foundational concepts of the scientific method. For example, scientific theories and Hume's question. Hume's ideas suggest that scientific theories can never be definitively proven. They can only be supported by experience. This concept later influenced Karl Popper's principle of falsifiability in science. Probability and statistics. Many modern scientific theories operate on probabilities rather than certainties. Hume's critique of causality underscores the importance of statistical reasoning. Kant and Hume. Hume's skepticism about causality deeply influenced Immanuel Kant, who developed his theory of categories of the mind. Kant saw causality as one of the fundamental frameworks through which the mind understands the world. Hume's relevance to everyday life. Hume's ideas aren't just for academic debate, they also influence our everyday thinking and decision-making. For instance, when we make decisions based on incomplete information, we are often relying on the mental habits Hume described. In technology and artificial intelligence, Hume's understanding of causality forms a foundational framework for models used in machine learning and data analysis. Conclusion: living with Hume's philosophy. David Hume's ideas on causality have been revolutionary for both science and philosophy. His inquiries reveal the limits and opportunities in humanity's quest to understand reality. Perhaps Hume's most profound message is this: attaining absolute certainty about reality may be impossible, but this impossibility offers a chance to deepen our pursuit of learning and meaning. Today, inspired by Hume's philosophy, we can question our habits, judgments, and beliefs about cause and effect relationships in our own lives. As Hume suggests, the search for certainty might be an illusion, but the search itself is what gives life its uniquely human meaning. It has been a pleasure to share Hume's thoughts with you, shining a light on the intersection of philosophy and modern science. It seems like you're asking for the text you shared to be returned exactly as it is. Here is your text as requested. Jeremy Bentham and Utilitarianism, applying the greatest happiness principle to social policies. Hello and welcome. Today we will discuss Jeremy Bentham's concept of utilitarianism, which holds a significant place in philosophy, and how this concept can be applied to social policies. Bentham was an important English philosopher in the late 18th and early 19th centuries, and his ethical theory has left a lasting impact on modern philosophy. The central idea of Bentham's philosophy is the greatest happiness principle. According to this principle, the right actions are those that produce the greatest happiness. However, this principle can be applied not only to individual life, but also to the policies that shape society. Today, we will explore these ideas in depth. Utilitarianism is an ethical theory developed by philosophers like Jeremy Bentham and John Stuart Mill in the 18th century. Utilitarianism argues that the morality of an action depends on whether it increases the total happiness the most. In other words, an action is considered right if it maximizes the happiness of individuals. According to Bentham, happiness is related to pleasure, and avoiding pain is the fundamental motivation for human behavior. Therefore, Bentham presents a simple formula for utilitarianism. To achieve the greatest happiness, social decisions should consider the happiness of the largest portion of society. This formula influences Bentham's approach to shaping society and politics. An action or policy is evaluated by the benefit and happiness it brings to society. Bentham's greatest happiness principle is essentially the core of utilitarianism. According to this principle, society's happiness consists of individual happiness. Each individual's experiences of pleasure and pain are different, but to achieve the highest happiness as a society means benefiting the largest number of people. Bentham argues that social policies should be designed according to this principle. At first glance, this principle may seem simple, but in practice it becomes much more complex. This is because determining which actions will increase happiness requires considering many aspects of human life. The question of how Bentham's utilitarianism can be applied to social policies is particularly important in areas like social reform and law. According to Bentham, the first step to achieve the greatest happiness in society is to understand society and make decisions based on the needs of individuals. The applicability of this principle is especially evident in government policies. So how can it be applied? Let me know if you need further modifications or additional content. A law and justice. Bentham argues that laws and the legal system should be structured to achieve the greatest happiness of society. Law should be used not only as a tool for punishment, but also as a preventative measure. Through legal reforms, the rights of individuals can be protected while considering the overall happiness of society. Bentham suggests that the legal system should be organized in a way that involves happiness calculations. For example, he argues that punishments should be proportional to the pain caused by the crime. B. Education and health policies. Education is a significant source of social happiness according to utilitarian thought. Education enables individuals to make better decisions and increases the overall welfare of society. According to Bentham's utilitarianism, governments should invest in education and provide access to healthcare in order to create a healthy society. A well-educated and healthy society will create more productive and happy individuals. C. Economic policies. Utilitarianism also stresses that economic policies should be designed to achieve the greatest happiness of society. Bentham suggests that the government should manage the economy to ensure people's basic needs are met. Reducing economic inequality and improving the welfare of individuals are core objectives of utilitarianism in the economic realm. D. Public services and social assistance. Bentham argues that the state should help the most impoverished and needy individuals in society. Such assistance is crucial to meet basic living needs and foster greater equality within society. Governments should invest in social welfare and public services to create a more equal and happy society. While Bentham's utilitarianism has been widely accepted, it has also faced criticism. One of the main criticisms is that measuring happiness solely through pleasure and pain is too limited. People's happiness is not just about physical pleasure. It also involves emotional and psychological dimensions. Therefore, measuring happiness only in terms of pleasure and pain fails to fully account for the complexities of social life. Jeremy Bentham's utilitarianism remains a powerful framework that could still guide the foundation of modern social policies. The greatest happiness principle can help in creating policies and social decisions. However, the limitations and criticisms of utilitarianism should also be taken into consideration. When applying utilitarianism to social policies, it is important to not only consider happiness, but also individuals' rights, freedoms, and sense of justice. To apply the greatest happiness principle correctly, it is necessary to balance individual happiness with social equilibrium. Today, understanding utilitarianism is not only about studying a historical philosophical approach, but also about how we can create a more just and happy society in contemporary times. We will discuss the theory of justice by American philosopher John Rawls, who is considered one of the most important social and political philosophers of the 20th century. His understanding of justice has had a profound impact on modern political philosophy. The central idea of Rawls's philosophy revolves around the concept of justice, which includes the ideas of equality, freedom, and fairness. Today, we will delve into these concepts, especially through Rawls' famous metaphor, the veil of ignorance. Definition of justice and key concepts. To fully grasp Rawls' theory of justice, it's essential to understand the key concepts of justice, equality, and freedom. Rawls believed that these concepts are intricately connected and must be understood to construct a just society. Equality. For Rawls, equality means that all individuals have equal rights and opportunities. It's crucial that everyone starts on an equal footing, and social and economic inequalities should only be tolerated when they benefit the least advantaged members of society. Freedom. Rawls asserts that every individual should have the right to freedom. However, this freedom is not absolute. It is limited by the need to avoid infringing on the freedom of others. The balance of freedom and fairness is central to his philosophy. Justice. For Rawls, justice is not simply about fair distribution of goods, but ensuring that societal structures and policies allow individuals to flourish. Justice ensures that everyone has their rights protected, and that inequalities are justified only when they improve the condition of the least advantaged. The veil of ignorance metaphor. One of Rawls's most famous and compelling ideas is the concept the veil of ignorance. This metaphor plays a central role in his theory of justice. The veil of ignorance suggests that in order to determine the just structure of society, individuals must make decisions about social arrangements as if they do not know any of their personal characteristics or positions. This means that under the veil of ignorance, individuals would not know their gender, race, socio-economic status, health, or any other factors that could influence their perspective. The function of the veil of ignorance. The veil of ignorance is a thought experiment designed to ensure impartiality in decision-making. Rawls believes that by imagining ourselves behind the veil, we can make fair and just decisions that protect the interests of all members of society. Without knowledge of one's own position in society, individuals would be motivated to create rules and structures that benefit everyone, particularly the least advantaged, because they would not know whether they would end up in a privileged or disadvantaged position. This concept challenges us to think beyond personal biases and interests, and focus on what is fair for society as a whole. It encourages individuals to create a societal structure where the rights and well-being of all members are considered, especially those who are most vulnerable. Dealing with adversity, the Stoic approach. Stoicism doesn't shy away from the reality of hardship. In fact, it offers a practical guide to dealing with adversity in a constructive and calm way. 1. Reframing difficult situations. The Stoic concept of premeditation of evils encourages us to think ahead about potential challenges or misfortunes. By mentally preparing for difficulties before they arise, we can reduce their emotional impact. This process involves reflecting on the worst-case scenarios and accepting them as a possibility. By doing so, we prepare ourselves to remain calm and composed, regardless of the situation. 2. Practicing gratitude. Stoics emphasize the importance of gratitude, even in difficult times. They recommend practicing gratitude by reflecting on the good things in our lives and appreciating them rather than focusing solely on what we lack. This mindset shift can help reduce feelings of dissatisfaction and bring a sense of peace. 3. Focusing on the present moment. One of the key Stoic practices is mindfulness or focusing on the present moment. By doing so, we can avoid getting overwhelmed by future uncertainties or past regrets. Stoics argue that the present moment is the only time we truly have control over, so it is crucial to make the most of it. Engaging fully in the present allows us to let go of unnecessary worries and cultivate a peaceful state of mind. Inner peace and tranquility in Stoicism. The ultimate goal of Stoicism is achieving tranquility and peace of mind. Stoics believe that by mastering our emotions, living virtuously, and accepting the nature of life, we could attain a state of inner peace that is independent of external circumstances. 1. Self-mastery and discipline. Self-discipline is an essential aspect of Stoic practice. By controlling our desires and impulses, we can maintain focus on what truly matters, our inner peace and virtue. Stoics strive to cultivate a calm mind, free from distractions, that remains steady in the face of life's challenges. 2. The dichotomy of control. The Stoic dichotomy of control is a powerful tool for cultivating tranquility. By focusing only on what is within our control and releasing attachment to what is not, we can eliminate unnecessary stress. This practice allows us to approach life with a sense of calm, knowing that we are not responsible for things beyond our influence. 3. Embracing change and impermanence. Stoicism teaches that change is inevitable. Everything in life, from our emotions to the world around us, is in a constant state of flux. By accepting change as a natural part of life, Stoics are able to maintain their inner peace, even when things are not stable or predictable. Understanding that everything is temporary allows us to detach from attachments and embrace the flow of life. Practical Stoic exercises for tranquility. 1. Daily reflection. Stoics recommend taking time each day to reflect on our actions, thoughts, and emotions. This practice of self-examination helps us to align our actions with our values and make adjustments where necessary. By reflecting regularly, we can identify areas where we might need to improve our responses and increase our emotional resilience. Journaling. Many Stoic philosophers, such as Marcus Aurelius, kept journals to record their thoughts and reflections. Journaling is an effective way to gain clarity, release negative emotions, and practice gratitude. Writing about our experiences helps us develop perspective and detach from harmful attachments. The 3. Mindful breathing. Stoics often practice deep breathing techniques to calm their minds and center themselves in the present moment. Simple mindful breathing exercises can help reduce stress and promote relaxation. By focusing on our breath, we can quiet the mind and return to a state of peace. Stoicism and tranquility. How Stoic philosophy can help deal with difficulties and achieve inner peace. Introduction. Hello and welcome. Today, we will dive deep into Stoicism, an ancient Greek philosophy that has stood the test of time. Stoicism has influenced thinkers, leaders, and everyday people for centuries, offering profound insights into how to live a virtuous life despite life's inevitable hardships. It teaches us how to respond to challenges with resilience and attain inner peace, regardless of external circumstances. In this video, we will explore how Stoicism helps us navigate difficulties and find tranquility. The origins of Stoicism. Stoicism was founded in Athens around 300 BCE by Zeno of Citium. It was influenced by earlier philosophical schools, such as Cynicism, and aimed to provide practical tools for living well. The Stoics believed that the key to a good life was not external wealth or success, but the cultivation of virtue and wisdom. Prominent Stoic philosophers, such as Epictetus, Seneca, and Marcus Aurelius, have elaborated on the core tenets of Stoic thought. The core principles of Stoicism. At the heart of Stoicism are a few central ideas that offer a framework for handling life's challenges and achieving peace of mind. 1. Control and acceptance. One of the fundamental principles of Stoicism is distinguishing between what is within our control and what is not. We cannot control external events, other people's actions, or even some aspects of our own health. However, we do have control over our responses, thoughts, and attitudes. This means accepting the things we cannot change and focusing our energy on what we can influence. 2. Virtue as the highest good. Stoics believe that living virtuously is the key to happiness. The 4 cardinal virtues in Stoicism are wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance. By embodying these virtues, individuals can maintain peace of mind even in the face of adversity. Virtue allows us to align our actions with reason and maintain integrity, regardless of external events. The 3. Living according to nature. The Stoics argued that humans should live in accordance with nature, meaning that we should understand our place in the world and act in harmony with it. We are part of a larger, interconnected universe, and understanding this interconnectedness can help us maintain a sense of peace when things go wrong. 4. Emotional resilience. Stoicism teaches that negative emotions like anger, fear, or sadness arise from our judgments about events, not the events themselves. By training ourselves to change our perceptions and judgments, we can reduce the impact of these emotions. Stoics believe that emotional resilience is key to enduring life's difficulties with tranquility. Conclusion. In conclusion, Stoicism offers us timeless wisdom for dealing with life's challenges and achieving inner peace. By understanding and practicing the core principles of Stoic thought, control and acceptance, virtue, living according to nature, and emotional resilience, we can transform our approach to adversity and cultivate a tranquil, balanced life. Remember, Stoicism is not about avoiding difficulties, but about learning to face them with strength, wisdom, and peace. As we embrace the Stoic mindset, we can weather any storm and find tranquility in the most tumultuous of times. Thank you for joining me today, and I hope you find the peace and resilience that Stoicism offers as you navigate your own journey.